This podcast is sponsored by Intentional Living Magazine, your ultimate guide created to help infuse purpose and passion into your everyday life. From expert features that provide valuable insights to thought-provoking content that sparks transformation, this magazine, an online platform, is a perfect source of inspiration for all of those of us who truly believe in the power of intentional choices.
So, this episode, can we just talk about fibromyalgia? Jules, you told us all your story.
We did. So we're talking about fibromyalgia, we're talking about chronic health, we're talking about what to do if you are experiencing pain or discomfort. And
Through your story.
Yeah, through my story. But again, there will be people listening that can relate to it.
Absolutely. That's what we wanted to do. So
Yeah.
have a listen and let us know of your thoughts, and please feed us back because we would love to talk more on fibro and chronic illness.
Either feed us back or feed back to us, whichever you prefer. Enjoy.
Can we just talk about chronic illness and in particular fibromyalgia?
We can, my love.
Okay.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Smashing.
Good. I'm glad you're smashing.
I'm really smashing. I'm really smashing.
I'm glad that you're smashing today because I was going to start off with something serious, but we always end up having a laugh.
Well
don't
done
we?
with that.
So, but
Yes.
in relation to, because we do always like to have a laugh, and I know that laughter is the best medicine. We will always say that. You can never not get enough laughter.
Exactly.
But prior to this, recording this, we've just been talking about the challenges with fibromyalgia because you used to have it.
I did.
And I want to just read this, what I've just found off the digitalhealth.net website. And it says that in 2019, the UK spent 50.5 billion on related long-term conditions next to roughly 700 billion euros spent at the European level, making chronic illnesses one of the major socio-economic challenges of our time.
Yep.
Now we're talking about that in money terms and what it's costing in terms of, you know, the economy or these organisations. But it's not just that, it's also the human beings behind that.
Yep.
And you know, what's the cost of being a human being with fibromyalgia? And we've decided, well, I thought it would be really good for us to really talk about your journey with fibromyalgia. And I know we've talked about the Life Freedom Method in a different podcast, but just to really go into detail, because 1 in 20 people globally have fibromyalgia or have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So for us to educate people, because every single day we come into conversations and we get messages from people, whether they are police officers, whether they're directors of a business, whether they're a mother or father, they come to us with questions and they've got chronic pain or fibro and they are at a loss. They don't know where to turn, they don't know what to do, and they're in pain. So could you, if I ask you some questions on your journey, and if you could tell us what fibro is,
Yeah, of course I
so
can.
that we can go back to basics with it. So
Yeah, of course I can. I just, before you say that, before you ask me the questions though, chronic pain is, the definition of chronic illness is living with a condition for over, I think it's 12 weeks.
okay,
Over 12 weeks. It might be 4 weeks. But anyway, it's long term.
There's a definition,
for
yeah.
which there is currently no cure.
yes.
Right? And when we say no cure, no pharmaceutical cure.
Yeah.
Right? That's my understanding. Okay. And there are a lot of people that we work with that we get before they hit that chronic health stage,
Yeah.
or before they're diagnosed with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this chronic stuff is a build-up.
Yeah.
It's a build-up.
And it doesn't just happen overnight, does it?
No, it's a build-up.
As you've said loads of times in your story, that the fibromyalgia came over a period of time because of what you were doing to your body.
And life.
Yeah, and lifestyle and life and just the stresses of life, especially modern day life. And I'll quote this figure all the time. 70% of doctors' visits are down to stress and modern day stress. The world has never been so busy. It's never been so stressed. But there's ways to manage that. So
there are, but we're not taught that, right? So
absolutely
evolution
not.
is working a lot slower than
Yeah.
us as a revolution. We're literally evolving at such a pace, or society is, that our bodies can't keep up. And that's the key. And let's just say before we start, we're not anti modern medicine.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. There is an absolute place for it. But there's a lot of education missing in our society. There's also a lot of regulation missing in society. And there's a big knowledge gap. And if we can fill the knowledge gap, then hopefully people will make more informed, intentional decisions about how they live their life and what they choose to have in it and not.
100%. Okay, so going back to Jules and going back to Jules Kelly, and when the day that she died, I know you've told your story previously on the podcast about when you decided to get better, but what happened to you with your diagnosis of fibro? What did you get told?
It took years, right? Because what happens with fibromyalgia is a chronic pain condition, and it's a widespread musculoskeletal pain condition. So my family used to joke, laughter and all that is the best medicine. Not sure how well I took it at the time, but what's the disease of the day today, Mum? Yeah, because it's Wellbeing Wednesday, or is it Migraine Monday, or Thumb Pain Tuesday? Like it was literally one of them.
Well, give us some examples then of like what pain you would have.
So for me, so it's different for everyone. So me, there was main pain points. So for me was my sinus pain. Okay. So I had really acute pain in my face and in my hips. They were the main places. But then as it got, when I say worse, as it developed, let's say it's prolonged, it came up everywhere. I literally had cramp in my nail beds, random, like could feel cramp in my nail beds. My pain in my face was excruciating. I'd go to the doctors and they'd say, oh, you've got a sinus infection, okay, antibiotics. Still got pain in my sinuses, so we'll try some different antibiotics. No change. And it was like that, literally. I was at the doctor all the time. Yeah.
You're going to the doctors every week?
Yeah, of course, because growing up, my dad had Crohn's disease from 21. So I grew up in a home where if you get sick, and this is probably like a lot of people watching or listening, that they go to the doctors. Yeah. And they ask for a solution. And I've got a beautiful doctor, but he will rightly say, look, here's the symptoms, and my job is to give you the medicine to support that symptom, and the right treatment, and there's the medicine. Yeah. So it's almost like, this is what you've got, have that medicine for it. And I went back and went, look, I've had all these antibiotics. My immune system's shot to pieces because my immune system's weakened with all the antibiotics, and my face still hurts. So I ended up being referred to ENT specialists, and I had really bad pain behind my eyes, like someone was putting knives in my eyes. So I'd go to neuro doctors. Yeah. I'd have all these different scans. I was checked for MS, all of those different things. And the one, like, we must have been about 7 or 8 years in, and I went to see the ENT man, and he had the camera up my nose and down in and he said, no, all clear. So I went, okay then. So if it's all clear, why am I right now in all this pain? Yeah. And he diagnosed acute face pain syndrome. Okay, so I went with that.
So that's a thing.
That's acute face pain syndrome. And then when I then went to the doctors with this thing, so I'd been to the, what's the neuro doctor called?
Neuroscientist?
No, it'll come to me. Anyway, I went to him, Mr. Silverman, I think he was called. And he said, like, I've got no lesions on the brain, blah, 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 but it sounds like chronic pain syndrome. And so you get these two things together, and then I've got pains in my legs and my hips and my shoulders and my arms. And I said to the doctor, do you think I've got fibromyalgia? And he went, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. And I was like, okay. I'm not mad. Yeah. Because it was almost like, it was getting ridiculous. Yeah. Like, what is this? Why are people running around doing their own thing, and I'm literally in my 40s hobbling around like an old lady, and at my worst, like not being able to get out of bed, not being able to join in, not being able to do what, as a family, what we want to do. Oh, can we do this, Dad? Well, let's see how your mum is. You know, it was like...
Yeah, you couldn't plan anything because it was just dependent day by day, hour by hour, how you felt. Yeah.
But we're still working flat out.
Yeah.
And so it was almost like you put that... We talked about this before.
Yeah.
We put that mask on.
Yeah.
We've got
bills to pay.
Bills to pay.
Yeah.
So we get up and we manage our day as best we can around the pain. And I remember like driving off to meetings and to an office and all of the things, and literally just shuffling. And people saying, "You all right?" Yeah. And you say, "Yeah, I think I've done something to my back." Like random, just done something to my back. And I remember at one point I spoke to my boss I worked in Morton at the time, and I went, "I really think there's something really wrong with me." What did he call me? HMS, sick note or something. I was like gutted because I worked so hard.
Yeah.
But he was right. It was literally, I was never off, but
there would always be
something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, oh, stop bloody moaning, Jules. You're getting on me. I'm getting on my own nerves.
Yeah, yeah.
But this pain was like really, really real. So when they said, "Yeah, you probably got fibromyalgia, chronic pain syndrome," what do? We get on Google and they go, "No cure." So then you go and look for support, and you go on the online groups, and that was like, holy shit! It was like echo chambers of doom. It was literally where people were talking about how bad life was, how much pain they were in, what level of medication they were taking, how that medication made them feel, how shit life was, how they couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, all of that. And I just went, how is that helpful?
Yeah.
Right? How is that helpful? And so I just came out.
Yeah.
I came out because I did suggest to one person, I responded to somebody, and I said, "Have you tried this?" And it was almost like, what? Why would you even suggest that? Are you trying to sell something?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Whoa, right, no, out. So it wasn't helpful. And I think the fact where they say no cure.
Yeah.
That's like just handing you what's that handing you?
Yeah.
That's not empowering in any way. So we've talked about when I decided to get well, which was when I hit rock bottom. And the last symptom that I went to the doctor with was these massive palpitations in my chest. Like seriously, I could feel my heart pumping out of my chest. And at that time, the reality is I probably needed counselling.
Yeah.
I probably needed some support, mental health, brain health support. And I got propranolol. I got beta blockers. And it was that time when I sat in Mum's garden, and we talked about this before, where I literally felt myself shutting down. And I thought that was it, chips down, off I was going into another world. Felt lovely, felt like dead peaceful. Thought, here I go, off I go, and across the Rainbow Bridge.
You don't normally travel anywhere when you go anywhere.
I was leaving Congleton.
Yeah.
And then I had that moment. So that was the gift. At the time, it was horrific. But the gift was I had a choice. And the choice was I either stay where I was, which was not a nice place, racked in pain, miserable, having people restricting their lives around me because I couldn't do it. And the support system for the people that got it wasn't empowering in any way. So the choice was either do something about it or stay there. And the unknown was less scary than staying where I was.
And then, so it's funny this, because again, the mindset piece of you are very positive and you're very open-minded, and you do like to know the information, and you do your research as part of it. That's just the way you are, isn't it? It's in your human design. That got you to know that there were other options, and that belief that you want to make this better, and that you can, if you do it, you can help other people. But there are people in those echo chambers of doom who don't know any different, who there's probably about 40-50% of people in there that could come with us or with, other people, empowered people on a journey, but they just, the echo chambers of doom sort of like suck them in. So you've said before that you understand how people can be there. You can understand that it's painful, to say, well, if I do get better, that means that my benefits might stop, but then I might get a job, and then I might lose my job, because what if it comes back again? So there's there's all of that stuff going on. So
there's a lot of stuff going on.
What was going on in your head? So that, because I'm hoping people listening to this can resonate with that piece and go, oh, I'm so scared to move on. So how do I do it? And then obviously we can go into the tips of how you did it.
They might not feel scared, logically scared, like in the moment, consciously
scared.
They might
not even know.
I think it's a secondary gain, and it's a subconscious thing. And it's because life will change. And don't forget, you've been told that this is incurable. You've been told that. So if a doctor tells you something, then we're brought up to believe that, right? They've done lots and lots of years and years of training. And I always believe if they can put a man on the moon, I know that's another podcast, and again, that's up for debate, but you can do anything. So for me, it was a case of, if they can put a man on the moon, there's got to be another way. There's got to be an alternative. And I knew that if I wasn't going to take control myself, no one was coming to save me. No one.
Yeah.
And that's when the journey of understanding this human suit that we wear came into play. And that's when I did the research and I started I'm wobbling your microphone again, sorry. I keep jiggling her mic.
I keep seeing it go.
She wanted a desk. She's got a desk, but she's got a jiggly mic. So that was my process, and it was a case of I have got a defined ajna and I've got a defined head center, which means that really what I know is what I know, and so I guess it was a big leap of faith. It was almost like I knew that this wasn't how my life was supposed to be. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm not accepting it.
Yeah.
And so I guess deep down there's an inner grit and an inner determination. And that's not to say that other people don't have it, because they absolutely do. But if they don't know, they don't know.
Yeah.
And if they're not in the right place, they may not
space
hear
or
it.
support.
Yeah. And in the echo chambers, a lot of people believe what they believe, and that's absolutely fine. It's energetically correct for them to do that. But for me, it wasn't. And over the last 7 years and talking to people, the people look at me like an absolute crackpot.
Yeah.
Honest
bonkers.
to God. And they say to me, like Mike and Charmaine, who we went through the clinical trial with, they've been banned from every fibromyalgia support group for trying to share the fact that they're no longer sick.
They're healed.
They're banned because there's no cure, right? Okay, but that's what you believe.
What goes around to that piece, the education piece of it's changing the traditional beliefs around with the doctor. The medics don't know everything. The body is capable of so much more. The body breathes without us thinking about it. She moves without us thinking about it. There's so many things that this intelligence that's within us, that the body is not meant to get sick, but it's the modern day living. It's the chemicals, it's the stress, it's the emotional stress, yes, the physical stress will break a leg, but the body will heal.
It's designed to heal. The body's designed to heal. And if we, and like hormonal health, hormones, menopause isn't an illness.
Yeah, it's a natural thing.
It's a natural thing. Again, anyway, we go into all of this. So I decided to learn, and I learned about how the body worked. I learned about how my body worked. I learned about the different things that affected my body. I learned about creating balance. And that's when I wrote The Fading Woman, which we've talked about before, which was my book. And that was the basis of our life freedom method. And it's obviously evolved since I wrote the book, which was 2 years ago now that the book was published. And it's just got better and stronger. So my view is that if you want to truly, truly want to get well, you can. Absolutely can. With the right guidance, with the right support, with the right education, with the right stuff, right? And our dream, our vision, which is beyond, and having a vision is what drives you. And my vision when I was sick was getting well. My vision was being able to do stuff with my kids. My vision was being able to live my life without pain, right? My vision now is about helping other people live without pain and allowing people to wake up to looking after themselves before they hit burnout, before their body says no more. And we talk to so many women and men that are experiencing stuff in their lives, either brain health or physical ailments, which are linked to metaphysics. So life, lifestyle, stuff that they're going through emotionally that's impacting their bodies, and it's showing itself physically. It's manifesting as physical symptoms.
Yeah. It's disease in the body, isn't it? Because it's just that stored energy within the body that needs to be released.
Yeah, because we can't. It needs to be released. So you can't change. You can't get rid of energy. You just transmute it. So again, it's just about understanding. And for women, a lot of women, like getting your hair done, getting your nails done, getting the exterior fixed is like of paramount importance. But you could spend thousands on all of that. Yet if I said to you, I want you to spend £100 a month on self-care and supplements, they'll go, how much?
Yeah. But they'll probably spend that on bottles of wine.
Like seriously.
Same. Because again, I was the same.
Knowledge,
5-6 years ago, yeah.
But we've been there. Yeah. We've all been there. So I did an analogy about a car, which is mad because I'm not really into cars.
So first of all, before you go into that, I just want you to hold the book up to the camera. Which camera are we going on?
That one. There you go.
The Fading Woman by, it should be Dr. Jules Kelly. You're going to get called that one day when we buy the doctor.
We're going to buy the doctorate.
Yeah, it's only 40 quid in America, isn't it?
Yeah. Reclaiming your body power, your body power, purpose and joy. And which is kind of what we do now, but we want you to do that before you get sick. That's ultimately this. But this was my journey, right?
So this book was written on your journey, and I love this book because it's got Jules's journey in it. It's full of humour, but it's full of so much useful, practical information that I didn't know before I read it. Because obviously, I'm always learning with you around the chemical and the toxic load and all of the hormonal stuff. But some really useful analogies in there. So
can you? Analogy, don't I
I'm just reading your analogies.
I'm just reading the back.
So just share with us some tips and strategies within that book, because this is why I wanted to do this podcast with you, because you do talk about it, but you need to show this to the world even more so now.
So on the back of the book, I forgot I wrote this. Do you ever feel like you're a passenger in your own life, and as if you've become lost along the way somehow? How many people tell us that every single day? When did I stop being the person that I wanted to be? When will I get to the front of mine or anyone else's priority list? When do I stop having to be everything to everyone and just be me? Yeah. Will the get up and go that has got up and gone ever come back? And why does my body and mind not work as it should? Right. They were the questions. And ultimately, so I'll tell you about the car analogy. I'm going to read it to you. So I want you to think about your dream car. You're going to go with this. You can close your eyes if you want.
I'm going to go with my dream car.
You can do it as well if you want, lads. If you want to think about your dream car and imagine it's the soft top version. What colour?
I'm getting my pen ready and everything to write this down, but I'll just go in my head. Go on.
Yeah, what colour is it? How shiny is it? This car is pristine, and it needs to stay this way as you're going to gift it to the person that you love most in the world. Imagine the sun shining and the sky is the brightest blue you've ever seen. There's a song playing full blast on your in-car sound system. What song are you listening to? You're lost in the song with the wind blowing through your hair as you experience the freedom of the open road on this gorgeous day. How lucky you feel to be driving this dream car. You will do anything to keep this feeling and the car in the best possible shape. You bloody love this car. You notice that your fuel gauge is dipping into the red, so you decide at the next opportunity to stop for petrol and pick up some refreshments. You turn off the main road onto a muddy dirt track. It's the only way to the fuel station. You get out of this beauty of a car and you stand holding the fuel nozzle, watching as the clouds start to appear. You then look down and you realise you filled your beautiful car up with diesel. You can't bloody believe it. The engine will seize with the wrong fuel. You're so mad with yourself that you kick the car with frustration. You've now got a dent in the car door and a scratch in its paintwork. You grab a rag from inside your bag and you use it to try and get rid of the scratch. The day just gets worse. You've used the rag with nail varnish remover on it and you're trying to get that scratch out. You've now got a beautiful car with a scratch, a dent, paint missing and filled with diesel. The person in the fuel station calls the fuel doctor, who drains the car of diesel and refills it with petrol. You put the roof up as the rain starts, as you leave the fuel station. Bloody hell. You realise that there's no water in the windscreen wipers and the mud off the road mixed with the rain is causing dirty brown smears across the windscreen and you can't see where you're going. What a mess. That car, my beautiful girl, is a great analogy of your body. Right? The fuel, the food that we eat is our fuel. The quality and quantity dramatically affect how our bodies respond and feel. Our bodies have this innate healing power and they're amazing if we treat them right. We need to nourish our body and give it what it needs. So the reason that we shared that, or the reason that I shared that, is because you're the biggest gift to the world, to the people that you love. And if you don't look after you, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Are you getting tearful?
A little bit.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Oh, you know what I'm like with your analogies. And I'm here, I'm picturing my car and it was yellow and it was one of them Land Rovers and it's all bashed. And then you think about yourself and go, yeah.
So if you don't treat the machine right, it's going to malfunction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And each bit of the machinery links to another piece. So if you think of your body like a machine, like even like you putting food in, it goes through all the different body systems, right? And if you were thinking of a factory and there's something stops working in it.
Yeah. Well, one of the cogs stops turning.
One of the foremen shouts, stop.
Yeah.
Everything stops. We just power on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really important.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is cure that. We want to be mindful of it. And when we start treating our bodies like we treat our car, if you treat your car nice, or you treat your home and you all of the stuff, and you start thinking about this body as the beautiful gift that he or she is, then you will start to make more conscious decisions, especially when you know, like if you're putting diesel in the petrol engine, and our diesel is not just our petrol isn't just our food, but it's the stuff that we use in and on our body. And so then we looked at, so then you were going to ask me, weren't you, about if someone's got diagnosed with fibromyalgia,
yeah,
what would you
so
do?
the question is for anybody that might be listening to this now who's just recently been diagnosed, about what to do if you've just been diagnosed with fibro, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who just go, oh, I do.
It's scary.
I'm in pain. Okay, there's no cure. Okay, I can take painkillers. I can take tablets. What else can we advise them to do? What would you advise from your perspective?
I would say stop and give yourself a big hug. Yeah, give yourself some self-love and know that you will get better if you choose to. And that sounds like a really big statement. So if you get the right support and you treat your body right and you get the help that you need and the direction that you need, that you can get better. That's the first thing. So that gives you hope. I've got better. Mike and Charmaine have got better. We're looking at more clinical trial stuff because we're looking at getting more funding. We're going to talk about that as well, to try and get our vision is to get this into the public system. Yeah.
Into the public
so that people know.
System as an offering, yeah.
So I would look at life, right? Look at life. Get a piece of paper and split your life up. And we do something called the gears of life, don't we?
Yeah.
So I'll let you talk about that in a second. But I look at, get a piece of paper and write the word balance on it. And then I want you to look at your hormonal health.
I'm going to do that as you tell me,
Yeah, so hormonal health. Do you know what a hormone is?
Yes, through your education, and I did not know the information until you told me, and it's fascinating to give us that information. It's so
tricky. So hormonal health is for as girls at school, we get taught about...
We've got hormones.
We've got hormones. I don't even think we got taught about hormones. We got taught about periods, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I know that in sex education, there was a cucumber and a condom, but nothing about the hormone piece. So hormones...
Can I just say we didn't have a cucumber and a condom? We didn't
Gracie
have any
and
of
Alf
that.
Did, yeah.
No.
I don't think we did either, to be honest. We just had the knit nurse. But... Again, times change. So hormonal, again, asking the question. In my aromatherapy days, and I'd teach women's hormonal health classes, is asking the question, do you know what a hormone is? And most people don't know.
Oh, I've got them. That's about it. And some days I'm hormonal and other days I'm...
And what does that mean?
Yeah, no one actually knows. Yeah.
So a hormone is a chemical messenger. Right, that sends a message from one part of the body to another to tell that part of the body to do something. That's it.
Yeah.
So when we're when our body works as it's designed to, a chemical messenger, the hormone will send the message and it will do whatever it needs to do. And our whole body is controlled by hormones, right? Not just estrogen, not just women, all of us, right? All of the whole gambit. And what happens is, I can't show you on the podcast for those listening, but again, another little bit of an analogy. If you, not even it's an analogy, sort of a demonstration. If you think of an egg cup and an egg, right? An egg fits nicely in an egg cup.
An egg cup,
So let's use the egg as the hormone, right? And it's traveling to the egg cup to deliver the message that egg cup needs to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how it's meant to work.
Yeah.
What happens for us is, because of this highly polluted world where we take on lots of chemicals and the products that we use in our self-care and in our environment, the diesel that's going in instead of the petrol, whichever route it takes, via the skin, via the mouth, however, is affecting this hormonal balance. So what happens is, the egg's still there, right? And it's got to deliver the message to the egg cup, but there's a grapefruit sat on the egg cup. The grapefruit has got a baddie's mask on.
Yeah.
And the egg cup doesn't know that the grapefruit isn't the egg.
Yes.
And the grapefruit is telling the egg cup to do something completely different.
Yeah.
The
egg can't get to do it because the grapefruit's there.
Eggs still hear this
which
hormone.
Is the chemical.
Here's the hormonal imbalance going wrong, because we've not only got the phytoestrogen dodgy stuff going on, we've got the real one there. Body's still got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
where's that real one going then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's floating around going, hello. And then we're going, oh, weight gain, mood swings, hot sweats, crying.
Pain.
Like that. All of those things. And so our job as a human is to keep those egg cups clear. How do we do that? By being mindful about what we put in and on our body. And so that, one thing is for sure, that every single human has the egg cups, has the eggs, has the grapefruits. Their job that they don't know that they've got is to keep the grapefruits out. Yeah. Right? Or keep the egg cups clear so that they can deliver their message. So if something is not working and you are hormonally imbalanced, because again, your body's got to process these hormones, and the more chemicals that your liver's got to process, there's a queue then waiting to get out, right? Your liver's like the filtering system. So you've got all of the grapefruits that are blocking up the liver because they're synthetic chemicals. Yeah. The egg's still sat here waiting to do his job. Yeah. Her job, its job. And again, there's more hormones being created. Yeah. So we've got a traffic jam going on in the liver. Yeah. But we're not supporting the liver. Yeah. Because all we're doing is clogging it up. Yeah. And so we're sluggish and we're tired and our body doesn't function properly. So that's just one bit. Yeah. Right. So the hormonal health piece is one of the things.
And the education on that bit is right. And so how can we I want you to give us some tips on how we can help ourselves then.
Okay. So with hormonal health, for me, it's about one, education, understanding. Yeah. And we will give you we can give you access to some information in the show notes. It's about understanding just the basics of it. Obviously, the endocrine system is a lot more complicated than the egg cup and the grapefruit. Yeah. But I try and put it into simplistic terms.
And we don't need to know the ins and outs, do we? I mean, obviously you do because you love the research and it's fascinating. But that analogy in itself is easy for someone to understand, to then go, oh, right, okay, then this makes sense. Yeah. What can I do to change? Like simple things. What can I do to change?
So first of all, going back to the car and the engine and the production line, water is massively important, filtered water, because you've got to flush that through. Like the liver needs some help here. If you don't drink enough, so the people that say, oh, I can't drink water, I bloody hate water, they can down 2 bottles of wine or 10 pints of lager, easy. Drink the water.
It's only recommended 2 litres a day.
Drink the water.
It's easy.
Filtered water.
Not tap water.
Because tap water's full of hormones, chemicals, arsenic, all of the stuff, not helpful. So filtered water, do that. Yeah. And be really, really mindful about what you're putting in and on your body. Your skin is not a barrier for chemicals. 70% of what goes on your skin goes in. It goes in without being filtered through the liver. It goes straight into the tissue. So it's important that you're mindful of it. So there is an app that I use and it's called Think Dirty.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes.
So Think Dirty is an app where you can literally scan the products that you're using for self-care, cleaning products, that sort of thing, shampoo, conditioners, all of the rest of it. And it will, deodorants, it will give you a green, amber and red. And it's telling you what's in the product and what's clean and what's dirty.
It's really useful. I've been using that for about a year.
If there's orange and red, if there's ambers and reds in there, you can go in and look at which body system it's affecting. The fact that it's affecting any of them is going to make it red, right? But things like the respiratory system, like asthma, chronic condition, right? We've got scented candles full of chemicals. We've got, so it'll say in there, respiratory system.
Yeah.
It'll say endocrine system, which means it's a hormone disrupting chemical, endocrine disrupting chemical, EDC. That is affecting your egg cups.
So that's the grapefruit, the nasty grapefruit.
Nasty grapefruits. So there's that. There is carcinogens, things that create cancer in the body. So when you're looking at this list going, okay, I'm going to put this on. I'm going to smell
as you do,
like
you like slather yourself
mango
and stuff. Yeah, but it's going on your skin, isn't it?
Carcinogenic.
Yeah.
And then you've got to decide how important it is for you to smell like a mango, or find a different way, right?
Yeah.
So that's really important. So the first thing that I would do, and this can be really, really overwhelming. So again, do it in steps.
I just do it via each product. So next time like for body lotion, when I finished one and I bought a new one, and it would be a tropic one or something that was more natural. So just doing it over time, and then I've just bought the Purdy and Fig stuff.
Is that green?
Yes. So I'm going to test that out for cleaning products.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more people talking about this now, about natural home cleaning products. So because if we keep cleaning with chemicals, this is part of what's causing us. And even that whole thing about spraying perfume here on your thyroid and your neck. Yeah. And people having underactive or overactive thyroid.
My mum's on thyroxine, been on it years, but she smelled like a tart's boudoir. Like when you walk through candles in the old days, and she'd be squirting, would you like to try this, madam? She'd literally, and you spray your perfume on the neck, and that's behind your neck there is where your thyroid is. So your thyroid...
My mum's on thyroid tablets as well, because years ago that's where you sprayed your perfume. Now it goes on my clothes if
you wear it. So
it,
thyroxine deals with your metabolism.
Yeah.
Your thyroid helps with metabolism and your clarity. You like your brain. So again, how many women do we know that go, oh my God, hormonal brain fog, perimenopausal brain fog? Yeah, well, you don't have to have it. Doesn't come naturally. It's the grapefruits, right?
Yeah.
So again, that's one of the main things.
Yeah.
So be really mindful about what you're using in and on your body. Don't panic because your body will regenerate, but you need to start looking after it because your body keeps count, right? You're not getting out of this. We're all ending up in the scrap heap. It's just about how tricky it is at the end of it. So hormonal balance is one of them.
Yeah. What else?
Food.
Yes, your food.
Food is important, and a healthy, balanced diet, but as fresh and as natural as possible. It's really, really easy to eat poorly. It's really
that's
cheap.
The whole thing about fast food, isn't it? It's just because we're so busy, we just sometimes it's just quick to go to Mackey's, it's just quick to do this.
But in society, like literally, it is so cheap to eat crap, yet it's really expensive to eat well. And it's about, for me, it would be about, first of all, where you can buy organic.
Yeah.
And I used to think that was sort of a middle class type thing that you did when you were like loaded. But glyphosate is a pesticide and it's ingrained into a lot of our foods. If you go down the grocery aisle in the supermarket, anything in packets that isn't organic, the chances are it's got glyphosate in it. And it's where our crops are sprayed and it gets ingrained in the food stuff. And glyphosate is one of the biggest grapefruits you've ever seen, right? So that's really important. So again, cooking from scratch where you can, planning stuff.
Glyphosate. I'm just making a note of this for me.
Yeah, we can say. And there's, what was it? The clean 12, clean 8. There's a couple of lists. So I'll have to look them up. But basically, if you can't afford to have everything organic, there are a list of certain things that ideally have, it's called a,
You've mentioned
there's
that
the
before.
Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty
The
Dozen,
Dirty
yeah.
Dozen, and maybe it's that Dirty Dozen, and there's another one for the clean. We'll find it, and just check that out. And then, again, just make better decisions. Yeah. And if possible, planning will help you stop eating on the hoof, if you like on the run. So that's really important. By doing that, again, we're looking for balance here. Yes. So again, if you score yourself 0 out of 10 for each section, then you've got an idea of where you need to do the work. Sleep is massively important. Now, when you're living with chronic pain, sleep can be a problem, can be a massive problem. Getting to sleep, staying asleep, getting quality sleep. But sleep is when our body repairs. And our circadian rhythm, it needs that time to repair. And so it's looking at what is stopping you sleep and having really good sleep hygiene. So again, no blue lights in the bedroom, maybe no telly in the bedroom, turn your phone off or leave your phone outside of your room. Yeah. And people go, yeah, but it's my alarm clock. Buy an alarm clock.
Yeah, I know.
Just do the things that will help. I used to have to take sleeping tablets. That's what I was prescribed by the doctor. And I swapped it out for cedarwood, vetiver and lavender oil. I would have magnesium baths before bed with those oils in. I would have the diffuser going in my bedroom with the door shut so that when I went into my room, it was already there.
Yeah.
I would have a selenite lamp by my bed.
Yeah.
All of these things to support calm. And then in 3 days, I was sleeping without sleeping tablets.
Yeah.
Water intake we've talked about. Stress is huge.
Yeah. Modern day stresses as well. Especially now, paying the bills, getting to work, traffic jams, Christmas.
It's the micro stresses as well, right?
They're all little things that you're going from one thing to another. So you never get into that place of rest or just still.
Another analogy.
Oh, love it, go on.
If you think you've got this bucket, your capacity bucket, and if every time you got a bit of stress, some more goes in, right? And so, again, let's say we've not slept properly. So our capacity bucket's just half full because we've not got rid of all of the stress that we've had that day, which is the cortisol levels, right? And then we get another bill hits. Like in the old days, we used to have a letter through the box. Now it's like emails or whatever, or a text saying you've gone overdrawn. These micro stresses, they fill up this bucket, right? The phone rings when you're trying to get the packed lunches ready.
Yeah.
Somebody else is phoning. Somebody
Traffic
else wants
jam.
something. Ping, ping.
Yeah.
Someone's texting you. Ping, ping. The kids' Snapchats are going bing, 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 bing. They're all micro stresses. So before you've even left the house, you are teetering on 3/4 of this bucket being full. And so how can you reduce these micro stresses? Right. So you've been doing loads of this recently, like switching off social media at certain points during the day, not looking at your emails at certain points through the day because it's filling your capacity bucket too quickly.
So just cut off. And again, it's hard to do that because it's part of habit. But if you're aware of it, you can get yourself into that pattern with it.
Yeah.
And the meditation piece, because getting that back into the practice, because that, even though being a meditation teacher, I'm still human. It falls off sometimes when life gets busy. And I've noticed in the last 2 weeks since I've been back meditating again.
You can really tell, can't you?
And the capacity bucket is more, it's reducing and it's getting bigger because I can manage more things, but I'm choosing what I'm choosing what I'm working on type of thing, because it's that self-awareness piece, isn't it?
And then when we introduced, obviously when I wrote this book, I didn't bring in human design into it, but actually living in your type and authority is massively important. So for us, again, we're both 5 energies. We get projected upon a lot. So people come to us for solutions. People come to us because we've got the answers. But sometimes if you're the person that says, oh, go and give it to them because they're dead good at that, you have got a word in your vocabulary that says no.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep saying yes.
Yeah.
So boundary management is massively important, because what happens is if your capacity bucket is there, then you're on that persistent
and you're saving
stress,
everyone else all of the time.
Right. So this machine has been working 24/7, right? And you're not sleeping properly. And so your bucket is full when you go to bed, full of cortisol.
Yeah.
It's running away from the tiger. How are you going to get to sleep there? you're not, right? So these tips that we're bringing are like about bringing that down again and making sure that we manage those stress levels. But persistent stress at that level is
so
what
dangerous.
is killing us.
Yeah.
It's what, as a society, is creating chronic ill health. It might show up as a constant headache. It might show up as a pain in your back. It might show up as a sore shoulder. It might show up as cluster migraines. It might show up as cramp in your foot. Whatever it is, your body is talking to you.
Yeah.
And it's knowing that. How many times I've heard people go, oh, my hormones are playing up. No, your hormones aren't playing up. Your body is doing the best that she can with what you're putting her through. Oh, my, whatever it is, my condition is. No, in the nicest, your body is doing what she can, right? So help her by managing this stuff.
Yeah.
So if stress is on your list and it's out of balance, whack it down.
That's again, it's a hard one. I was at delivering a session yesterday in Coventry. Coventry. Never been before. I was sent to Coventry, and we were doing a mental health and wellbeing day for a corporate client, and there was a lot of people in that room who admitted that when I talked to them about the being addicted to stress, there's a lot of people who are addicted to the chemicals of stress, and that's quite frightening. So and again, people with fibromyalgia and in chronic pain, this might be part of it, is literally that you'll be sitting there, you might have had an average day, everything was okay, wasn't too bad, you don't feel too stressful. You might sit on the couch, switch the telly on, got your pajamas on, have a cup of tea, and then the next minute, boom, this overwhelming, anxious feeling of stress and worry and fear comes over you, and it's like, I don't know why I feel like this. It's because your body's like, oh, because it's so used to pumping that through. It's like, oh, we need to give you some stress. We need to give you some cortisol and adrenaline because you're normally like this. You don't normally rest. So bump, let's give you another thought. Bump, let's give you something to worry about. So then you can be sitting there and not even know what you're worried about because the body's just become so addicted to those chemicals, which is
your body's just responding.
Yeah.
Like, your body's responding to the stimulus without you even knowing.
Yeah.
And some people get to the point where they don't even necessarily feel it as stress. It's just the way life is.
And it's general anxiety disorder, GAD. And it doesn't have to be. And that's why I'm so passionate about meditation, because that is, along with all of this other stuff that's in the Life Freedom Method and what you've gone through and what you've suggested in the book, it works because we need to give the body rest. We need to give it serotonin and dopamine and rest. And again, some people need more rest than others. Some of us don't need as much rest, but we still need rest from this busy modern world. And that's it's massive.
Yeah.
So,
and time for you is in the book as well. Make time for you, like really
stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah, seriously. But then when you're in the height of fibromyalgia, you can forget what that feels like.
Yeah.
You can forget what enjoyment feels like, and you might not enjoy anything.
Yeah.
And that's a really sad place to be, because you think, oh, I'd love to do that, but I can't even walk downstairs.
You can't plan anything either because you do. Well,
it's
you feel
tricky.
like because it's like, well, I could say yes to go out that night, but I don't know how I'm going to feel on that day. So, and then it's like, well, just come out, and the peer pressure.
No, in my day, like, I'd have gone, I can't.
Yeah.
Just can't. And they'd go, oh, well, she can't.
We won't ask her anymore.
And
there's all that type of stuff going on. Yeah.
So exercise is important as well. Exercise, when some people with fibromyalgia go, are you joking? Like, are you seriously joking? And when I started working with Charmaine in the clinical trial, I said to Charmaine, what exercise do you do? And she looked at me as if to say, you absolutely off your rocker. I don't do it. I literally can get out of bed.
Yeah.
And I said to her, okay, on the first week, I'd say, right, I want you to drink 2 litres of water. I want you to take these supplements. I want you to journal. She was like, okay. And I said, and I want you to take the bins out.
That was her start. That was the action, yeah.
Yeah. And she went, oh, okay. And she did it. And she was knackered. And then a few weeks ago, we're a year in now, but a few weeks ago, she did like 12,000 steps on a family walk, and like was
with the kids,
was absolutely fine. Yeah. So again, it starts somewhere. Movement
Got
is
to
key.
move the body to get the energy moving around,
and to move energy and the stuff that you're putting in it, right? Because movement is important. Again, through the through the machine. If you get a clogging in the machine, your body needs help. Peristalsis can't do it all. So that's another one. Toxic load we've talked about. Work-life balance we've talked about. And emotional well-being is another one. It's about, we work with emotional well-being a lot because our emotions potentially control what's going on the whole shooting match. And one thing that I was really staggered about, actually, Claire, this last few weeks, as you know, my mum's not been well, and she was in hospital. And for me, I know what's going on, right? For me, it's a metaphysical response to stress. And so the doctors had said, and this is the NHS, the doctors have said she's medically, what was the word? Optimized. She's medically optimized. What does that mean? And what that meant is, physically, there was no reason for why she was feeling this way. So again, chronic ill health. So the next step is we need to wait for the psychological team to come, right? Again,
it's separate.
Medically optimized, but the brain and the head is different bit of the body, different system. I was like, what? Like, seriously, it's all connected. And if our healthcare system is
treating it as a whole,
as that, then and this is why the Life Freedom Method works, because we work with people holistically, absolutely and holistically. People
tailored
come to us
to their needs,
even if it's not fibromyalgia.
Yeah,
and like, there's so many different types of people that we work with that have got lots of different things going on. They might have stomach issues that there's no reason for. There is a reason. It's just not one that's ticked by the medics. Yeah, right. And so there's all of that stuff going on. So I would make a list of all of those things, and then also make a list of what, and it does it in the book, it's a stop, start, continue. What can you stop doing?
That's not helpful.
That's not helpful. Yeah. What can you do now to stop doing healthy? It might be changing your shampoo. It might be as simple as that, right? It might be as simple as not
drinking a bottle of wine every night when you come home from work because you're stressed.
Yeah.
Which is what was my go-to was many years ago.
So stop. But what this really requires is honesty, pure honesty. Because who are you kidding, right? Your body's just not going to lie. So make a list of all of the things that you can stop, and don't let that overwhelm you, right? Because you can do one at a time and celebrate each one that you do. And then write a list of what you're happy to continue to doing, that you know is serving you. Be really honest, and then write a list of what you can start doing. And there you go. That's the start of your action plan then. Yeah. And it is dead simple. But some people's brains don't work like mine. Yeah. And so this isn't simple to some people. Yeah. But this is where...
And again, it goes back to the environment as well, about the support that you've got. If you're not living in a home or an environment or a family that could support you and help you, and you might, or in a job that you don't like, all of those things will be adding to those stresses. Yeah. And it's about even letting go of some of those things.
Do you know what it is as well?
Go on.
It's the biggest self-awareness piece.
Yeah, because if you don't know, you don't know.
But it's the biggest self-awareness, like, to know what's going on in this suit. It's massive. Yeah. But it's not a priority. It's not what we're taught.
No. And it is about looking after yourself and live. Life is so much better when you look after your body, isn't it? And your mind and your emotions, and you live, because again, a lot of us put the mask on, don't we? Because we're people pleasing. So we're shoving a lot of stuff down. So that gets stuck in the body. People pleasing, we should do this, I should do that. You don't need to do anything if it doesn't bring you joy. Yes, I get we've got things that we feel obliged to do, and you're not just going to not do something for your kids who need you at the time when they're babies, or whatever it is, or you're not going to say to your boss, no, I don't want to do that right away. But if you're living in a relationship that is unhealthy and you feel like there's no way out, there is a way out. There's choices for everyone. It just might not be good choices. They might be hard, but we've all got choices. If you're in a job that you don't like, you don't have to leave it straight away, but you can start to plan what that job does look like. Where do you want to work? What is your passion? Because you've only got one life and you don't want to live it sick.
And I think there's another analogy. It's the nightclub analogy.
Should we finish off on this analogy?
The nightclub analogy.
Well, first of all, what I wanted to say, for ease, and if anyone has the money, they can invest in your book on Amazon. Or from our website, spaceandfreedom.com. How much is it?
1111.
Is that angel numbers? Does not surprise me.
1111 or 555 it is.
Bloody
on Kindle.
buy the book. There you go.
Buy the book, yeah.
It's all there.
It's all there.
After listening to this podcast, or visit the website and get the free resources there as well. Absolutely. And you can get the Gears of Life quiz, what Jules was talking about before.
And the human design chart.
And the human design chart for free, and the meditations.
All of it.
There's lots of stuff that can give you an insight into it, and the document for the Life Freedom Method, the white paper's there as well, for anyone who wants to see the science behind it, as well as the research that we've done. Sure. So go on, what's the nightclub analogy? I love this.
The nightclub analogy is the immune system.
Yeah.
Right, so touch some wood now, but we had that pandemic. We had that pandemic.
That.
Well, I've not succumbed to any of that pandemic shenanigans.
Yeah.
Because my nightclub security team is in full flow, right? So this body is a nightclub. And again, think of your body as a nightclub. And then your immune system is your security team. Mm-hmm. And my security team wear black tailored suits, and they've got high heels and red lipstick. They are looking hot. And they are here to manage what's going on. Mm-hmm. So when you are stressed, that could be like, you've got one person in at the bar. Yeah, stressed. You can deal with one thing at a time.
Yeah.
We're all over that. Then you've got a couple of people that hit the dance floor. So that's me putting my mango body lotion on. Can still cope with that because we've got, keep your eye on two things at a time. But then when you throw in a load of chemicals and crap food in your body, and so that's somebody setting a fire in the ashtray over there, before you know it, our immune system has got that many gaps. We've got all this stuff going on in the nightclub. It can only deal with so many fires at once.
Yeah.
And so you need to make sure that you've got a good door policy and managing what is allowed to happen in this nightclub. And where your immune system is weakened, there are enough bugs, bacteria and viruses out there that will come in.
That's just going to creep in.
And your immune system, if you keep that strong through what we've talked about, that's going to give your nightclub a great door policy.
Yeah, I love that.
And keep you healthy. And like I say, that pandemic that we had hasn't, touch wood,
hasn't
affected me physically in any way.
Yeah, love that. It's just when you said about my head, the way my head thinks, when you talked about the bouncers on the door and you said that yours had red lippy on in tailored suits with high heels on.
Not blokes.
Yeah, women.
Called Barrow.
But mine were two big fat men with baldy heads.
What does that say? Let's get a psychoanalyst in.
But that's probably so stereotypical. But and then you threw me then because you said yours were glamorous with heels and lipstick on, and I was like, I've just got two big
fellas.
Baldy fellas. Like, no, you're not coming in.
Yeah.
So that's my analogy. So I might change my bouncers.
I think you need to have a re-recruitment policy.
I might do. So thank you for sharing that, because again, if 1 in 20 people globally have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and there's more than that with a chronic illness, your journey and the journey that the clinical trial work that we've done, and we're really shouting about this, hence why we've done a whole podcast on it, and I wanted to ask Jules about her journey so she can share the hope and to know that you've got choices in everything that you do. They might not be easy, but you have got choices. You don't have to be stuck. And what's that saying? You're not a tree, you can move. This is saying.
I love it. There's not a tree, you can move.
You're not a tree.
That's come from Claire.
No, it was on Instagram, and it was like a picture of a tree, and it was like, remember, you're not a tree, you can move. But I mean, even look at trees, the way they grow and the roots go and everything. It's like, yeah, you can move. We can move, and the thing is to move change forward to where you choose.
And to just be mindful that I only got the label of chronic illness about 8 years in. So I was living my life in pain, with stress, with all this going on as a norm.
Yeah,
right?
And that's not the norm.
And there's so many of you out there that are doing the same. So what we're saying is, if you are experiencing some of these things that are out of kilter, don't wait until you hit that wall.
Yeah.
Listen to your body now. And if you want any help with it, the Life Freedom Method is there, and all the details are on our website.
Get in touch.
Yeah, get in touch. And we've got, and again, clinical trials. We're going to be searching for funding, calling in funding to do more of it so that we can help more people.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that, Claire.
It's a pleasure.
And your tree.
Move, you're not a tree.
Yeah. Okay. So it's tra from me.
Love and light from me. Bye.
Tra.